What's up, guys? Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com. It is Friday. It is 9 October 2020. And in today's video, I want to talk about why I think that you should own some Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency as part of your overall portfolio. And we're going to look at how much of this you should own. Now, I am obviously not a financial advisor. This is purely my own opinion. Do not take this as any sort of financial advice. So, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dirk. If you want no BS, no hype, cryptocurrency updates, please subscribe to the channel below or consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell so you get future updates and I can give you all these future updates. Now, back on April 19th, 2019, I published a video on this channel saying owning one Bitcoin may be the best financial decision of your life. And around that time, Bitcoin was trading in the $5,000 range. Well, since it's trading above $10,000, and it has been for quite a few weeks now, that was obviously a very good call. But going towards the future, how high can Bitcoin go? And this is what I want to make clear to you. Now, obviously, if you've been in the crypto space for a while, you probably understand what the future potential of crypto is. But this is especially for those of you who are new to cryptocurrency, who don't own any cryptocurrency yet, to show you the potential so that you can be aware of this industry and make an informed decision of whether you do or do not own cryptocurrency. And like I said, I personally believe that everyone who knows about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now should own at least a tiny little bit. And here's why. Just yesterday, a big company known as Square put $50 million worth of their US dollars into Bitcoin. You can see over here, Square puts 1% of their total assets. So that's important to know. They put in $50 million, but it's only 1% of their assets. So they purchased 4,709 Bitcoin, right? Now, this is significant in many, many ways. As you probably know, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in the world. This is hard capped, and that will only be completed by the year 2140 or something. So far, far in the future. But right now, there's about 18 million Bitcoiners. So it's being mined every single day until completion. But there will only ever be 21 million. So for every person that buys a Bitcoin, there is one less Bitcoin available for other people to buy. And Square just took 4,709 Bitcoins out of the circulating supply, meaning that is what is less in the world. Now, besides that, they took it out of the circulating supply, meaning that there's less to go around, and when demand increases, that means there's less supply, meaning prices are likely to rise. That's what happens in basic economics, right? If demand exceeds supply, prices rise. But what it also does is it's sending a message to other companies out there and other CEOs and other billionaires and other funds saying, hey, we're putting 1% of our funds into Bitcoin. And they're not the only ones, right? You've probably heard about this too. Microstrategy, not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, they actually announced that they have purchased more than $400 million worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to scroll down over here. You can see over here, Michael Saylor, on September 14, 2020, Microstrategy completed its acquisition of 16,796 additional Bitcoins at an aggregate purchase price of $175 million. To date, we have purchased 38,250 Bitcoins at an aggregate purchase price of $425 million. So that is two really big companies. MicroStrategy is a publicly listed company on the NASDAQ. Square is obviously also a very big company. They're 425 million and 50 million. Okay, that's two of them. And then there will be more, and there will be more. They're sending out this message that they're saying, hey, I'm willing to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of my net worth of the company's assets into Bitcoin. How many companies are in the world with market caps of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars? What happens when they all start putting 1% of their assets and their funds into Bitcoin? What do you think that's going to do for the price? How much Bitcoin do you think that's going to take out of the supply? There's going to be a massive race to be able to get as much Bitcoin as possible. And the other people who aren't buying it now, they're going to be buying it at much, much higher prices. This was earlier this year, but Tudor Jones, hugely famous investor, he buys Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. And he actually didn't buy physical Bitcoin as far as I know. He actually just purchased Bitcoin futures, but he put 1% of his funds assets into Bitcoin future, exposing him to the price of Bitcoin. Right now, that obviously doesn't take any Bitcoin out of the circulation, but again, it's sending a message to other investors, fund managers, family offices, just personal millionaires and billionaires, like, hey, maybe take 1% of your money and put it in Bitcoin, right? And maybe some of them will put it in Bitcoin futures to hedge against inflation or to be able to ride that price action. But others might just actually purchase it as actual Bitcoin. Putting the dots together, I know these are just two companies and one billionaire, right? That bought a lot of Bitcoin, but the message that it sends, I think, is the official message that it's like, hey, this is real. This is legitimate. It's no longer just some funny internet money that nerds are buying in their mother's basements, right? This is like real legit stuff now, and it's happening. So if that's happening, these guys are smart money, right? They're not your average investor. They're not your average company who's waiting on the sidelines and will buy way down the road. These guys are positioning themselves early. They're taking a big risk, but at the same time, they're investing single-digit percentages of their net worth. And just heading over here to the Bitcoin chart, so this is a monthly chart, and you can see back in 2014, 2016, how flat it actually was. The price action was super boring for like 2 years, and then, start May 2017, it just started moving. And within a period of 6 to 7 months, it went from here, it went from $1,500 to $20,000. So that's the thing. If you're like sitting on the sidelines and you're thinking, hey, I'm just going to wait until it starts to move, I'm going to wait until it starts to pick up, before you know it, in a matter of weeks, in a matter of months, it can be so much higher. And then you're going to have to buy in higher. And then when you're finally ready and you see the price is already so much higher than when you looked at it initially, let's just say you're looking at it now, it's 10,900. And by the time you're waiting and you're saying, I'm going to wait it out, and by that time it might be 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. And by that time you're ready to actually buy it, you'll be like, oh, well, the price is so much higher, I'm going to wait a little bit more. And then the price is going to go even higher. And then you FOMO in right near the top or near the end of the cycle, only to have it drop or come back down. So with any sort of investing, of course, you want to look at what smart money is doing, and you want to go against the trend. So most of the retail investors are only going to get interested in cryptocurrencies once it starts booming, once everyone is talking about it, towards the end, the mania and euphoria phase of the cycle, because that's when you just see it on TV nonstop. It's when the prices are making the most gains. That's when everyone is getting rich around you and you don't have it, right? Your friends, the Uber driver, the server at the restaurant, they're all making insane gains and you don't have any. That's a euphoria phase, and that's where you're like, oh, I'm missing out. I need to get some. And you buy in right towards the end. And sure, you might still get some gains if you're a little bit early, but within a matter of weeks, usually that trend reverses, and then you're the person who bought the top and it drops 50, 60, 70, 80%. You sell at the bottom and you say, oh, I knew it. It was a scam all along. But maybe it wasn't a scam. Your timing was just incorrect with purchasing that, right? So that's what I want to show you here. And especially look at this. Okay, so it did take 6 or 7 months to go from 1,500 to 20,000, but if you look at the last 2 months, it went from 6,500 to 20,000 in a period of 2 months, right? So that's what I'm saying. It moves slowly until it decides to move, and when it decides to move, well, then it might be too late, especially if you still have to prepare stuff, right? If you're thinking about buying crypto but you're not ready and you're like, okay, I'm going to wait for it, I'm going to wait, at least get yourself registered on cryptocurrency exchanges. Complete the KYC if you have to do that, complete your paperwork, and make sure that you have it all ready, that when you want to enter the markets, that you know exactly what to do, how to make your first purchase, and it's all ready to go. Because if you only start to research that and you only start to register on exchanges and that kind of thing once you're ready, it could take you days or weeks to actually get to that stage where you're ready. And sure, it's become a lot easier to purchase cryptocurrency. In fact, you can actually do it probably in a matter of hours. Just sign up for an exchange, and these days You are able to purchase with a credit card, even with a debit card at some exchanges. Banks are becoming much more friendly again, allowing you to wire towards crypto exchanges. That was a big problem back in 2017. So it has become a lot easier to actually purchase cryptocurrency. But I'm just saying, if you're still waiting on the sidelines, at least prepare yourself, register for an exchange, make sure you have an account and an ability how to buy Bitcoin so that, it's easy when you actually want to take the plunge. Now, this is a famous analyst on Twitter. It's called Plan B. 100 trillion US dollars is his username. And he's basically come out with the stock to flow model for Bitcoin. And this is an existing concept, but he applied it specifically to Bitcoin. And you can see, so stock is the Bitcoin already in circulation versus the flow new Bitcoins entering circulation. The Bitcoin stock to flow model shows a statistically significant relationship between Bitcoin's scarcity, measured by stock, and its market value. Bitcoin stock to flow was introduced in March 2019 by a Bitcoin researcher and investor under the pseudonym Plan B. So, because Bitcoin has a 4-year halving cycle, that means the flow, the amount of new Bitcoin coming into circulation every single 4 years, gets cut in half. And that is what you can see over here on this chart. So you can see every 4 years approximately, right? The stock to flow changes. And you can see over here, that was after the first halving. So the first halving in late 2012, you can see it moved to a new plateau. And then the next halving in mid-2016, then the next plateau. And so the white lines are the stock to flow, right? The expected market value. And the dots over here are Bitcoin's price action measured in months until the halving. And you can see there's a color chart. So when it is red, it is literally just after, when it turns from blue to red, that is when the halving has occurred. Each dot is one single month. And when it gets to dark blue, right before it changes to red, that is when the halving occurs. So you can see at the journey how that changes. And this was the first cycle. So after the first halving, you can see there was a massive gain right after that halving. And it went from over here, as you can see, in the tens of dollars all the way up to just over $1,000. And then it starts to pull back. You can see over here, based on the color code, somewhere between 30 and 25 months. It drops down and it has this huge bear market and consolidation until it gets closer and closer to the halving. And then when in the last 10 months or so, it starts to move up a little bit again. Then we have the next halving over here when it moves from blue to red. And you can see it starts its journey up again until, again, somewhere between this 30 and 25 months out. Then it peaks, and again we have another bear market, especially in this green area that appears where the bottoming is. So that's between 20 and say 12 months out. And then once it starts getting closer to the halving, it starts to move up again, or at least bottom out. And you can see we've seen that again, the blue here as we got to the halving. And now we've had 5 months, 5 red dots here since the halving. And you can see over here on the right, the different price points. So the June close, July close, August close, and how that is moving. Now, as you can see, the next plateau with the stock to flow after this halving of 2020 is at the $100,000 level or above it, right? So if this were to repeat, and again, there's no guarantees, but so far there has been an almost perfect correlation with this. Okay, so assuming that this will repeat in some way, then we can expect within the next, say, 4 years, that the price of Bitcoin could reach $100,000 or even more for a single Bitcoin. And even from today's levels, that is still just about a 10x from today's levels in Bitcoin. And while this is just a model, who knows if it's going to repeat itself or not. But what I've just shown you also, where we're starting to see, Microstrategy, 425 million worth of Bitcoin, Square bought $50 million worth of Bitcoin, Tudor Jones investing in Bitcoin, obviously futures, but in Bitcoin nevertheless. As more companies and billionaires and funds start to do this, we can see this is starting to get legitimized. There's more banks. The banks are getting into the game now, right? They're offering services to crypto exchanges. They're allowed to hold assets, crypto assets on behalf of their customers. PayPal, Venmo are getting involved. Like, all these things are just lining up. And this is the model also here that's in front of you. So putting those two together and being like, okay, like there's a really good chance that the price of Bitcoin is going to go higher based on not only this chart, but everything that's happening. Add in the fact that, there's all this uncertainty in the world, all the central banks who are just printing currency like there's no tomorrow, all that stimulus. What is that going to do to the value or the purchasing power of fiat currency? It's going to bring it way down. Add in the fact that banks are heading into negative interest rates where you literally have to pay as a depositor, as a saver, right? If you have more than 250,000 euros at ING Bank, you need to pay 0.5% for the privilege of them keeping your money. And that's just going to encourage that money going, or that currency, should I say, it's not money, that currency to go into other assets and real estate and stocks and other places where, it provides safety, it provides a hedge against inflation, where you don't have to pay the interest to the bank. And perhaps, as we're starting to see this, and as more and more big companies and millionaires and funds are starting to take this lead and saying, hey, I'm putting 1%, 2, 3, 4, 5% of my assets into Bitcoin, more people are likely to start taking that lead. And as more people take it, even more people will take it. And that can really start the snowball of Bitcoin just getting pumped to $100,000 and more. And of course, as the value of fiat currency gets worth less, well, then it's even more likely that people want Bitcoin, especially if it's rising, right? And as we already know, I'm not going to get into that in this video because it's getting long enough already. But as we already know, if Bitcoin is going to pump to $100,000, the other altcoins, of which there are hundreds, thousands of them, they're going to do multiples of that gain. So if Bitcoin is going to do a 10x, what is Ethereum going to do? What is Litecoin going to do? What is Neo, OMG, ARC, ICX, so many other coins out there? What are they going to do, right? They might do 20, 30, 50x. We'll see coins doing 100x. So that's why I'm saying, do you really want to sit on the sidelines and have no Bitcoin or have no cryptocurrencies? Even if it's just a single small percentage of your net worth, even if it's a single digit percentage, like 1%, right? Maybe you want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, or 5,000 or 10,000, right? Worst case, it goes to zero and you lose 1% of your net worth. You make that up with other investments. Best case, it goes 10x, 50x, 100x, and that 1% becomes 50% of your net worth, or it becomes 100% of your net worth. And the nice thing about it is that you have full control over it. You can hold your private keys and no one can take it away from you. When you own your Bitcoin in cold storage, right, you own the private keys. It means there's no exchange, no bank, no government, nobody that can take that away from you. So that also adds a certain peace of mind. You can take it with you anywhere in the world. You can even memorize your private key, your password to your Bitcoin, and travel anywhere in the world. You could literally go across borders with millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, right? It's possible. How are you going to do that with gold? You can't, right? You can't even take more than $10,000 worth of gold across the border unless you declare it, right? So that's another very important part of Bitcoin. So again, guys, I'm making this point. I'm making these videos. I made that other video back in April 2019 when Bitcoin was $5,000. I'm making this one when Bitcoin now is $10,900. I'll probably still be making videos when Bitcoin is maybe $20 or $25 or $30,000. And while nothing is guaranteed to happen, the way everything is lining up, I think there's a very high probability that Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher over the coming years. So that is it from me today. If you want to stay updated on crypto, if you want to learn more about cryptocurrencies, just subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. Click the notification bell after you subscribe so you do get all my updates and tutorials. And if you do want to learn even more about cryptocurrencies, I have a complete beginner's course. I have tutorials, I have education, I have a membership that I call Intelligent Cryptocurrency. It's the first link in the description below, and as part of that membership, it's all inclusive. There's courses, there's tutorials. I write a monthly newsletter that's over 30 pages with project research, insights into cryptocurrency markets. I show you everything, where to buy cryptocurrencies, how to buy them, how to store them, how it all works. Everything is included in the membership, as well as a private Discord chat group where you have 24/7 access to me personally and all the other members inside the program. These are all investors into cryptocurrency based all around the world. You can ask questions, we can share ideas, we can have a good time, talk about stocks, real estate, gold, precious metals, mostly crypto, but all of it is in there. So if you do want to know more about cryptocurrencies, I highly recommend you at least check it out. You have absolutely nothing to lose because there is a full risk-free trial period. So you sign up, you can come and join, go through the material, hang out in the chat groups, and if you decide it's not for you and you're not happy with it, well, no problem, I'll give you your money back. So again, nothing to risk, everything to gain, lots of information about cryptocurrencies, education, research, and community. And if you want to learn more about that, go to intelligentcryptocurrency.com or check out the first link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Please do smash the like button and leave a comment if you did enjoy this, because it helps the channel, it helps this video go out to more people. And I want to ask you, if you got value from this video and you know anyone that wants to get into cryptocurrency or doesn't own cryptocurrencies just yet, please send them this video. Hopefully it'll help give them some insights and maybe allow them to make a smart decision. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.